Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. It is time for the final honor of the evening. For more than a year, we've been working through an incredible jury process. We've been working through our own thoughts, and we've been working towards this moment, a moment where we honor the finest in India.
We have a very strange thing in our country, where we have peacetime and wartime as two separate things. And if there's one thing that 2025 has taught us, and Vishnu and I have seen it up close, in India, there is no peacetime. And that's why there is no year like this year to pay tribute to the Indian soldier.
Ladies and gentlemen, for 2025, the NDTV Indian of the Year honor goes to the Indian soldier. A big round of applause for the Indian soldier. Our soldiers from the Army, Air Force, and the Indian Navy. And what I can tell you is that what you're going to be seeing in the next few moments is an incredible collection of the bravest of the brave. But before that, a quick look at what really made the biggest story of 2025.
They stand as an unbreakable shield of resolve, forged in a flame of duty and sacrifice, in the grim aftermath of the horrific Pahalgam terror attack. Operation Sindoor laid bare their unbreakable purpose, a thunderous strike executed with surgical precision and breathtaking courage that shook our adversaries to their core, for epitomizing the ideals of valor and selfless service. The NDTV Indian of the Year belongs unequivocally to the Indian Armed Forces.
Well, we'd be delighted if we are joined on the stage by Dr. Sanjeev Goenka, chairperson of the RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, and the chair of the jury for the NDTV Indian of the Year award, and Rahul Kawal, our CEO and editor, with us as well. Rahul, if you can come on.
And we'd also like to be joined on stage by Air Marshal Ashutosh Dikshit. He's the Chief of India's Integrated Defence Staff. In this officer, ladies and gentlemen, is embodied the best of the three armed forces as one. He belongs to the Air Force, but he embodies what jointness means and what Operation Sindoor really symbolized. The three armed forces coming together in an incredible joint mission against a rival.
And you know what's really important, and I think this is something that people across our country must appreciate, that Op Sindoor was a tri-services win. It was the forces working together in absolute synergy, which in a sense defined what the outcome eventually was. And that really is the big goal for our armed forces going forward. So what we'd like to do at this stage is to invite some of the bravest sons of India. And ladies and gentlemen, what I can tell you is that on Indian news television, Shiv, I don't think there has ever been an occasion when we've got so many Veer Chakra winners for one mission, for one operation, a large one, Op Sindoor, 88 hours, but they're all over here, and we are delighted to have them come up on the stage. We'll announce their names. Shiv, you want to start?
Colonel Koshank Lamba Veer Chakra, please come up. And a big hand as I call out the names, please.
Come, sir. Lieutenant Colonel Sushil Bisht, Veer Chakra.
Naib Subedar Satish Kumar, Veer Chakra.
Subedar, sir. Group Captain Manish Arora, Veer Chakra.
Group Captain Kunal Kalra, Veer Chakra.
Wing Commander Joy Chandra, Veer Chakra.
And Commander Saurabh Kumar, Nausena Medal Gallantry.
So as we promised you, never, perhaps in Indian news television have we had so many Gallantry Award winners, Veer Chakra winners, Nausena Medal Gallantry Award winners on the stage, and we feel so privileged to actually have this moment in front of all of you, because there is
Vishnu,
nothing that fills us with
Can I make a
pride
small
in our
request first?
forces. Yep.
Can we have a standing ovation? You've got Veer Chakra awardees from the Army, Navy and the Air Force. This has never been seen before on one stage.
This truly is a goosebump moment if ever there was. You know, Vishnu, Shiv, Padmaja, our teams track the armed forces very closely. We've had Bollywood stars, we've had singers, we've had cricketers, but nothing beats having the Indian soldier and so much collective individual bravery up on the stage on behalf of the NDTV team, and more importantly on behalf of every single Indian citizen, for your bravery, for your valor, for what you did on the battlefield. Thank you so much. We're all very, very proud of you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, be seated. Air Marshal, I must ask you, as somebody who works towards the integration of the armed forces, how is jointness not just the present, but the future of what we must work towards?
Okay, so this jointness we started just after Kargil in real earnest, though it was there earlier also. It took off when CDS was appointed, and in last 3 to 4 years we have worked very hard to achieve this jointness, and the result is there in front of you. Jointness is not a slogan, it is a lot of activity, it is planning together, it is taking action together, it is taking responsibility together, and communication, control of escalation ladder, and all these kind of things we have now learned to do together. A small example we have seen, and in years to come you will see more and more of it.
Shiv?
As Rahul said, you know, first of all, I just want to acknowledge what a goosebump moment this is for all of us here with this many Veer Chakra awardees. I don't know about you, Vishnu. I haven't shared stage with this many, you know, Gallantry Award winners in one frame. It's incredible. So I think all of us are allowed to feel that very human emotion. But Air Marshal Dikshit, the jointness was one aspect of it. The other aspect that we're also proud of is how Atmanirbharta, made in India, Swadeshi weapons and systems really showed themselves as being highly reliable and lethal in Operation Sindoor.
Yeah, it was a very great thing. For that also we had worked in last few years. If you look at our air defense, which was a great success, and this we have built together with Bell for Air Force and for Army. Its integration also, a lot of missiles, you know their names, so I don't want to repeat them here. And also a lot of counter US systems, which our private sector actually did a very, very good job. So because of all this, we were able to do whatever we could do. Okay.
Yeah, Marshal, thank you very much. And now really the moment all of you have been waiting for, a snippet, if you will, of the experiences of these brave men, right? Some of their memories, their most intense experiences. The questions are limited, but I assure you the answers are profound. So let me start with Colonel Lamba. Sir, the citation is long. I won't get into that. But in Op Sindoor, in what you were involved in, what is the one lasting experience or memory?
Although, if I have to say, every moment I spent in Op Sindoor has been etched into my memory in very, very firm way. However, if I have to dig out and pick and choose one memory which will probably stay with me forever, it would be the moments just before the operations was launched. We were in the gun area, and there was a calm. Just before the operations were launched, there was a eerie calm, which was a calm just before the storm we were about to unleash. In that moment, when I spoke to my men, I was apprehensive, and I was probably thinking I would find fear or confusion or apprehension. However, when I looked at my men, I saw a lot of josh, and I saw a lot of confidence in their training, and I saw a fire which was there from the youngest of soldiers to the Subedars and Naib Subedars, and that was the fire which we unleashed few moments later. And that's probably one memory, that calm, and then that calm transforming into a storm. That's probably, I'll keep it me.
I'm going to invite Rahul to ask the next question, because Rahul, as everyone knows here in the Forge, of course, remembers very fondly Rahul's late father, Brigadier Gurmeet Kabul, who was a veteran gunner, someone who was incredibly interested in the art of warfare, wrote extensively about it, was generous with his knowledge. The soldiers and officers you see here, Rahul, were on the line of control, directing some of that fire. Your father would have been so proud today.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I'm hugely emotional. We don't usually bother with photographs or talking to, these Bollywood stars, or, you're never awestruck. But when you meet a Veer Chakra awardee, and when you meet a Paramveer Chakra awardee, whether it's at the Army Day function or anywhere else, whatever, you almost instinctively feel the need to stand up and salute their valor. And I just want to say thank you to the Chief of the Defence Forces for allowing for all of them to come here and be a part of this very special moment. What you've done for our country, many of the stories are known through your citations. A lot of it is not known, but it really makes all of us as citizens extremely, extremely proud. And yes, not just my father, I'm sure every single person, man, woman and child sitting here would be extremely proud of what all of you have done.
So let me
They're all operationally deployed, Shiv.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've all chosen to come over here today as part of this honor, it gives us in NDTV a sense of pride that we've sort of felt for so long, from the Kargil war to the battles against terrorism, to the high altitude conflict in Siachen, to all of what we have seen along the line of actual control, to now Op Sindoor.
I'm just thinking, because during Operation Sindoor, I traveled the entire length of the line of control, and I'm just wondering where these officers were, because they were there at some point of time doing their incredible work. But Colonel Bish, I'll come to you with that same question. This was dangerous work. You were on the front lines. I know how intense things had gotten, because I saw some of it limited, but you saw the whole thing. What was the most intense part of what you did there?
See, we had got the orders prior to us. So what we had done, that we had done the intense planning and preparation for it. And we had used all the latest technologies which we had. Even we had to study the satellite imagery, latest satellite imagery we had studied. We had seen the target area, we had done a detailed analysis of the target area. What major experience which I got, and what main thing which I remember and which I can share with the audience, is those intense 22 minutes on the night of 6th and 7th May, where my entire unit, my entire team, they were functioning in absolute sync. Everyone was well aware of their job. All the teams were well poised, well doing their job. They were doing absolutely what they were trained for. We had trained for it, and we had prepared for it, and we did our job very well. You have seen in the videos which you have just played, the firing which we did, we created a havoc in the enemy hinterlands.
Incredible work, Vishnu, and
We can write a book on each one of these men.
yeah,
But,
each one of them is a separate book, mind you. Yeah,
That's true. नायब सूबेदार सतीश कुमार वीर चक्रम, नायब सूबेदार शुक्रिया, आप हमारे साथ हैं आज। आपका जो मिशन था, जिसपे आपको एक वीर चक्र दिया गया है, आपको ऑनर किया गया है, उसके बारे में आप कुछ बताएंगे? आपके सबसे अहम मेमोरी या याद उसके बारे में।
ऑपरेशन के दौरान सबसे बड़ी याद, जब दुश्मन की तरफ से 2 मोटर पोजीशन से हमारी मोटर पोजीशन के ऊपर फायर आया, तो ये मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती थी, क्योंकि एक पोजीशन से 2 टारगेट को एंगेज करना बहुत ही मुश्किल है, लेकिन मैंने मेरे पास 4 मोटर थे। मैंने 2 टारगेट पर 2 मोटर, एक टारगेट पर 2 और दूसरे पर 2 मोटर को ले किया और अलग अलग डाटा पास किया और उसके ऊपर कार्बाइड फायर गिरा के उसको पूरी तरह से बर्बाद किया। उसके बाद मैंने दुश्मन की 3 पोस्ट के ऊपर इल्यूमिनेशन और स्मोक अराउंड फायर करके आग लगाई, जिससे 300 से 400 मीटर के इलाके में आग लग गई और 30 से 35 माइन ब्लास्ट हुए।
You know, I am particularly glad today that not only that we have Air Marshal Dikshit with us, who heads the Integrated Defence Staff, but we've got representatives of all 3 of our forces. And Operation Sindoor, I promise you, was a joint operation. Group Captain Arora, the Air Force was very visible during Operation Sindoor for obvious reasons as well. But what was your most memorable moment? It was intense. It was extremely high octane. It was short, but there was a lot of preparation before that as well. It seemed to work like clockwork. What was it like being on the inside?
Well, it was intense, isn't it? It was really intense. And there were a lot of memories which we have. One of the memory which keeps on coming back to me, and probably I'll take it, you know, it'll take forever for it to get erased from my memory, is this is when we are going for our first mission. And I walk into the briefing room, similar to what Colonel Lamba has just explained. Now these young women and men are sitting over there. There is, you know, that day that room was slightly different. There was that unsettling calmness or some kind of stillness in them. You know, when we saw each other in the eyes, it was understood that we are the answers for the tears of those 26 families who lost their innocent ones. You know, there was a latent emotion, angst, filled to the brim, which had to be expressed. And we had to, you know, go and express that. That was our responsibility. It was totally and totally understood. After that, you know what happened. 4 days of intense conflict. The enemy was on its all fours, begging for mercy. It was a perfect display of professionalism, willpower, and focused targeting at that time.
May I just say that the satellites had a very hard time keeping up with the number of targets that all of you hit.
See, I know a lot of things, but probably this is not the platform. But yes.
But you're here with us for dinner, so maybe we'll find out more.
But it was intense for you. I can also tell you that these 3 men in blue are all crackerjack fighter pilots. They are the best of the best, and their valor in these operations for different sorts of missions, whatever they were, reflect the best of the men in blue. But Group Captain Kalra, let me come to you first. Your most intense memory of those 88 plus hours.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I was very fortunate to be part of this operation, because it is a dream come true for any soldier or any air warrior to be part of a live action. So I was one of them, and I would say I was very fortunate for it. Personally, for me, the most proud moment, I would call it, and that was when my weapons left my aircraft and I saw them heading towards the targets.
What does that feel like when you've got the weapon out, heading towards the target, what's going on in the mind of fighter pilot?
Yeah, actually at that time, all the challenge, all the conditions that were slightly unfavorable, that all faded, all the noise faded, and I was in my zone. And that time I realized that we train day in and day out for all these missions and challenges we simulate. But this one is different because these weapons are carrying a purpose, these weapons are carrying nation's hope and prayers for how they are supposed to go. And I just know one thing, the Indian Air Force core values, which I thought before the mission as well, and during mission, integrity and excellence, which we abided by. And I realized that when from the word go, when this operation, we got the missions on a very short notice, we planned well, our mission objectives were clear, imprinted on each and every of my formation members' mind, and we took the fight to the adversary, owning up the skies as my weapons left. And lastly, I would say that, I quote, Tato Yado Dharma Tato Vidya, which means where there is truth and righteousness, there is victory. There was victory then, and there will be victory forever ours. Jai Hind.
I just want to put those pictures of the air bases that were hit back on our screen behind us for just a moment. Group Captain Kalra, I just want to ask you, when you saw these pictures finally of the targets that you had hit, what went through your mind? You guys are professional pilots. You just talked about the very human emotions you felt in the cockpit, releasing those weapons. But when you saw images like the ones you see behind you, the weapons heading in, hitting, the satellite images later, what does a fighter pilot feel?
I think, even now I am reliving that moment and I'm getting an adrenaline rush. I don't have any words for this. It can't be expressed in words because this is, as I said earlier, it's a fighter pilot's dream. To hit with precision targeting, precision strikes, like you see on the screen, and there was much more, but it ceased.
This is everyone's dream. It's just the fighter pilots and the top guns who get to live that dream. But this is actually everyone's dream. We all hope of being in a cockpit, firing away, going for the Pakistanis or wherever else. But you get to live that deal. This is what it feels like to be in the presence of these top guns.
What I love is more than one of them says, there's a lot more, but I can't really tell you about it. But I want to tell you about it.
One small detail which I did pick up in the course of my own reporting, Rahul, was that when the mission orders came, everybody in the squadron or the unit stood up and said, okay, we are going, ready. And they had to be told, no, your time will come. There may be more missions as well, but they were all like, why not me? And that in a sense reflected what that spirit of Josh is all about.
Thank you.
Wing Commander Joy Chandra, we are limited of course to this one question for obvious reasons, but I will ask you that question, sir. Your most intense moment or memory from Operation Sindoor, those days, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I am feeling very proud and fortunate to represent the gallant of the Indian Air Force and our prestigious armed forces. The people whom you are seeing right now are only few of the many those who have worked together to achieve what we have done during the operation. Okay. Now coming to the question per se, the most memorable moment. For me, it wasn't just the mission itself, but actually the process and the phase before that. So actually in Indian Air Force, every sortie that we fly, whether it is day-to-day training flying or a normal mission during an operation, it is intense. And we approach every sortie with the same passion, professionalism and preparation. So it is all preparation and the planning when comes together and is successful is what makes it memorable, and that is what has happened during Operation Sindoor. And it's not only me, I think so every one of us and everyone back home is feeling proud to be a part of this operation right now. And I know it has been a very grand success, but actually success is not ours, it is actually of the nation. Actually they have given us that courage to perform and do what we are trained to do. and that is what I take it. Thank you.
In fact, what we are doing over here is we are honoring the armed forces. There isn't a trophy over here because they were doing their jobs. So it is an honor of the men and women in uniform who play a critical role day in and day out. Op Sindoor is in the news for obvious reasons, but I can also tell you that 365 days a year, whether there is a war or no war, these men and women in uniform are working constantly, whether it's Hadar missions or humanitarian aid missions which take place, rescue missions which take place, missions against terrorism which take place, which unfortunately are all too common. High altitude deployments cause a lot of consternation. It is very, very difficult on the mind, on the body. Deployments out at sea for extended periods of time, these are also challenging as well. Commander Saurabh Kumar, Nausea Sena Medal, gallantry, representing the brave Indian Navy, the proud Indian Navy on this panel. What was your most memorable moment in the last year or so?
First of all, thank you very much for bringing me here and standing here in front of all other gallant officers and soldiers from sister services. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The most memorable moment started the moment my squadron gave me a team, and immediately thereafter, the first thing that came in mind was, flying in front with the Josh which the team had because of the results which started coming in on the TV, and that was the most memorable moment. And one personal thing I would like to bring out here, when I landed in night, so it was mid past night, it was my 10th marriage anniversary. So I got an immediate call, and that gave me a very personal touch which I'll never forget.
तो वाइफ ने क्या बोला?
Happy marriage anniversary.
No, one of the amazing things about the Navy, you may be wondering why there's only one person from the Navy here. That is, we're privileged to get and be able to host any number of these soldiers, but like one of the group captains said, this is just a small fraction of the number of gallantry award winners from Operation Sindoor. That was the sheer scale of the valor and bravery that was shown by men and women in the armed forces. But before we end, I do want to acknowledge one thing, that when we salute and thank each of these officers and soldiers, please let us never ever forget that they've got incredible families standing behind them. People,
Yes, a warm round of applause for that.
people, mothers, fathers, children, wives like Commander Saurabh's, who must have spent, weeks of sleepless nights with their, loved ones on the front line, inside angry cockpits, firing missiles, firing weapons. So every soldier that Vishnu and I have ever met has always known that for a soldier to be able to fight and defend, they need an incredible family behind them, and all of them do. So thank you to all of your families as well. So thank you.
And before we end this evening, I also want to say a big thank you to everyone who's joined us here at the NDTV Indian of the Year. This is the 20th time that we've assembled for this marquee IP. It's been a spectacular evening, and not just to the families of the soldiers, but to our producers back in the studios, our producers in the production control room here, our fantastic videographers, the entire team that brought this together with such clockwork precision. It's almost like a military force by itself. You've seen the depth and the diversity and the talent of the NDTV team through this evening, and we're very thankful to all of you, our jury, our partners, for being here, and most of all to these very brave women and men from the armed forces for doing their job and doing it so well and making us all so proud. We want to end by requesting all of you to stand for the national honor. National anthem, please.
Thank you.
माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की।